Bonjour tout le monde et bienvenue à Le Français avec KJ. Today we are going to be doing narration. If you are in a level that is below level 3, this may be a little bit advanced for you, but just stick with us and see if you can follow along. Today we're going to take narration to the next step. We're going to be talking a little bit about how you talk about future events in the past. We're also going to continue our work with the passé composé and the imparfait. But we're going to do it in a different way. We are going to actually create a story with 100 words exactly. And we're going to use the passé composé and the imparfait, and we're going to try to tell a complete story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. So first we need a character. I always like to flesh out, my story a little bit before we get started. So in the personnage department, this is going to be a first person narration. So moi, I'm going to be the character, one of the characters. And to give myself a little bit of idea of who I am. So je suis désorganisée, bonne amie, et désireuse, which means I'm kind of eager to be, friend. Mon conflit, j'ai rendez-vous. Okay, that's my whole motivation for this story. She needs a companion, of course, our main character. So let's give her one. Her name is Laure, and she is gentille, maladroite, positive, et sportive. And maladroite in this instance is she's a little accident prone. Her conflit, elle rentre des vacances blessée. Poor thing. Okay, we need a third character just to sort of, give this little oomph. So here we go. Laura met someone while on vacation. Yes, a cute guy, Julien. All right, so let's get this story started. So we're going to give ourselves some grace. Sometimes, you don't feel like dealing with the passé composé and the imparfait in the beginning of your, writing assignment. So here's my suggestion. Write the story in the present tense in French. Don't use English or any other language. Write the story in French in the present tense. If you're up to a certain level, that shouldn't be too complicated because then what all you need to do is change your tenses once you're done. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of grace. We're going to write this story out in the present tense, and then we're going to switch it to get our story in place. So, d'abord, je me lève tôt, je me prépare vite, et je sors. We have to move things along quickly because we only have 100 words to work with. So, we're getting started. All right, so let's develop a little bit. J'ai rendez-vous avec Laure au jardin public. Je prends le métro et je descends devant le parc. We don't have time to really flesh out, background setting and all that stuff. So we're just going to use action right here and say we got to the park, how we got there, and there we are. We're at the scene. Mais Laure n'est pas là. Je cherche mon portable et remarque son texto. Laure est en retard. Okay, so now we have the wrinkle. The person we're meeting is not there. Elle arrive 20 minutes plus tard. Son bras est en échappe. Le bras cassé est son souvenir de ses vacances à Mont Blanc. Wow, okay, so this is wrinkle deepens. L'homme me raconte tout. Elle rencontre un beau moniteur de ski. Ils vont voir une vidéo ensemble chez elle. Elle a de la chance. Okay, so the story, wraps up. We have a nice happy ending, so it's all pretty good. Now, if you have any questions about what any of this stuff means, please put it in the comments section. But for right now, well, suffices to say, I have a meeting with Laura at the park. She's not there when I get there. When she shows up, her arm is broken and in a sling. And then she tells me this whole story about how she was skiing at Mont Blanc and she met this really cool guy and they're going to go see a video together at her place. Like, whoa. Okay. So let's try and do this again in the passé composé and the imparfait. Let's try and tell this in the past tense. So, je me suis levée tôt, je me suis préparée vite et je suis sortie. Notice here that I'm using the auxiliary être with the passé composé here because we have reflexive verbs, and reflexive verbs are always conjugated with être. So, je me suis levée tôt, je me suis préparée et je suis sortie. All right. Again, reflexive verbs always conjugate them with the verb être. Continuing the story along, j'avais rendez-vous avec Laure au jardin public. Okay, notice I'm using the imperfect there. We'll talk about that in a minute. J'ai pris le métro, je suis descendu devant le jardin. All right, so why did I use the passé composé here? Why did I use the imperfect there? And why did I use the passé composé there? Well, the having the rendezvous is not necessarily a completed action. It's actually something that is ongoing throughout this story. Okay, until Laura arrives. And even then, they still have a rendezvous. All right. So let's give the wrinkle. Mais Laure n'était pas là. J'ai cherché mon portable et j'ai remarqué son texto. Laure était en retard. Okay, so here we have the condition when I arrive is that Laura isn't there. And then I do some completed actions to discover that she's going to be late. Okay, being late is not at all a completed action, so Laure était en retard is going to be in the imperfect. All right, next one. Elle est arrivée 20 minutes plus tard, son bras était en écharpe. Now, the arrival obviously is a completed action, but her arm being in a sling is not because it was in a sling before she got there, and we don't know how long it's been in a sling, so it's kind of a continuing, ongoing situation. It's also a physical condition, which are physical conditions are always in the imperfect in the past. Le bras cassé était son souvenir de ses vacances à Mont Blanc. Laure m'a tout raconté. So, le bras cassé is not only her physical condition, but it's her mental condition here because this is her memory of her vacation. But there's some other memory that's coming up here as well. So, let's get to that one. Elle a rencontré un beau moniteur de ski. There's Julia. Ils allaient voir une vidéo chez elle. Elle avait de la chance. Okay, so here we have she met someone. Here's the interesting thing that I mentioned at the beginning of this video. How do you talk about some sort of a future happening in a past tense story? And the way that you do that is, remember in the original story, this was Ils vont voir une vidéo chez elle. And so what we did was we took that LA and we made it imperfect to sort of make a future event in the past here. Okay, so they were going to go to watch a movie. They were going to watch a video at her house. Okay, and elle avait de la chance. Again, her condition, she's lucky. All right. So, what I really want you to do as you're looking at each one of these is to go back and think about, like, can you walk yourself through mentally why we used this tense and not that tense? Why we used the imperfect there instead of the passé composé? Why we used the passé composé instead of the imperfect? As long as you can explain this to yourself, you're doing great. All right. So yes, and this is what I'm getting at. Like, rewind it. Try your best to walk yourself through like the verb tenses. I did not put any questions in this video because I want you to try something. Even if all you do is write 3 sentences, I want you to write 3 sentences in the present tense. I want you to switch them to the past, try to put something in that would be in the imperfect. I want you to use both the imperfect and the passé composé. Then what I want you to do is drop what you wrote into ChatGPT or any chatbot and ask it to analyze your use of the passé composé and the imparfait and see what it tells you. And, if you have a chance to put that in the comments or send me an email, excellent. I would love to hear about it. We'll try another story soon. But until then, don't let me forget to thank the people at Pixel who created the images for this video, and also the photographers at Unsplash who created the rest of the pictures for this video. Thank you so much, and thank you for watching. If you've learned anything from this video, or if you just liked it, and you want to hang out, please subscribe, like the video so that we can get it out there to more students who are grappling with this upper level French material. And I look forward to our next story and our next time together. À bientôt.